Top 6 TVs to buy in 2025 and 3 to avoid. If you're buying a TV in 2025, you've probably seen it. Aisles of glowing screens, all claiming to be the best 4K ever. Some are $400, others $2,000, but they all look the same under those retail lights. Here's the truth. Not all of them are what they seem. Some brands quietly downgrade their parts for store-exclusive models. Others rely on flashy demo loops that hide poor motion, weak contrast, or cheap panels. Walk into Best Buy right now and you'll see 50 screens playing the same Dolby Vision waterfall demo. They all look stunning. But take them home, turn on a regular Netflix show, and half of them fall apart. Dark scenes turn muddy, colors shift, motion stutters. So we cut through the noise, tested, compared, and verified real-world results. Not just spec sheets, not just marketing claims. Real performance in real living rooms with real content. These are the 6 TVs worth buying in 2025 and 3 brands you'll regret trusting. Smash that subscribe button because we're about to separate the winners from the wall hangers. Let's start with the ones you need to avoid. Number 9, Element. This brand shows up everywhere. Walmart, Target, sometimes Amazon, always cheap, always tempting, and always a mistake. Element TVs are often rebranded generic panels with rock-bottom specs. Brightness is weak, black uniformity is worse, and those HDR claims, fake. The panel can't even hit the minimum standard for real HDR. Here's what they do. They'll market a 60 Hz panel as 120 motion rate. That's not a refresh rate. That's software interpolation trying to smooth out motion and failing. The result? Soap opera effect on everything you watch. Sports look weird, movies feel wrong, and firmware updates, don't count on them. These TVs ship with bugs and stay that way, no security patches. No feature improvements, you're stuck with version 1 forever. In real use, colors look dull, dark scenes turn gray. Sports and action movies stutter. Watch a dimly lit thriller and you won't see half the details. The backlight bleeds into dark areas. HDR content looks worse than SDR on a decent screen. It looks cheap because it is cheap. Skip it. Don't let the price fool you. Next one? A familiar logo that's losing its edge. Number 8, RCA. RCA used to mean something. Decades ago, they built reliable electronics, radios, tube TVs, equipment that lasted. But in 2025, they're coasting on name recognition while pushing outdated tech under budget price tags. No Dolby Vision support. That means you're missing out on better HDR metadata that actually improves picture quality on supported content. Poor build quality. Plastic feels flimsy, the stand wobbles. The remote has input lag that makes navigating menus frustrating. And the operating system? Sluggish. Apps take forever to load. Switching inputs feels like waiting for dial-up internet. The defect rate is high. Dead pixels. Backlight failures. Power supply issues within the first year. Customer support is nearly non-existent when things go wrong. You're stuck with email tickets that take weeks to get responses. No phone support. No live chat. Just you and a broken TV with no help coming. These TVs might work fine for a spare bedroom or a garage setup where you're not watching critically. But as your main screen? Absolutely not. You'll notice the difference the first time you try to watch anything in HDR or play a modern console game. Good for a spare room, not a main screen. Move on. Now to one that used to be great, but 2025 says otherwise. Number 7, Vizio. This one hurts because Vizio used to be a solid budget brand. 5 years ago, you could recommend them without hesitation. Great value, decent performance, reliable enough. But they've been plagued by firmware bugs and reliability issues for years now, and 2025 hasn't fixed it. If anything, it's gotten worse. They replaced SmartCast with a new interface, but it's still buggy. Random blackouts where the screen just cuts to black for no reason. Failed HDR handshakes where the TV won't recognize your console or streaming device's HDR signal. You're stuck troubleshooting for hours. And brightness? Mediocre compared to the competition at the same price. Hisense and TCL are delivering double the nits for less money. Vizio's sitting at 500 nits peak while others hit 1,000 or more. Check the forums, Reddit, AVS forum. People are dealing with updates that brick features, apps that crash midstream, menus that freeze and require a full power cycle to fix. AirPlay stops working, HomeKit integration fails. One user said Vizio's like that friend who swears they've changed until they crash at your place again. Empty promises, same problems. And here's the kicker. When you contact support, they'll blame your internet, your HDMI cable, your streaming service, everything except their firmware. Avoid at all costs. There are better options at every price point. Don't gamble on this one. All right, that's the warning list. Let's talk winners. This is where it gets interesting. Number 6, Roku Pro Series. This is the surprise entry. Roku is known for streaming sticks, not TVs, but their Pro series is shockingly good for the price, and it's flying under most people's radar. It's a mini LED panel with strong SDR performance. Brightness is solid. We're talking 600 to 700 nits, which is respectable for this price range. Colors are accurate out of the box. You don't need to mess with picture settings for hours. And the interface? Clean, fast, no lag, no nonsense. It's Roku OS, which means it's simple and it works. Every app you need is there. Netflix, Disney+, Max, YouTube, they all load instantly. No ads baked into the menu system like some competitors. No constant upsell notifications. Just a grid of apps and a search function that actually works across all services. You can grab this at Costco with an extended warranty, and that's a huge value add. 5 years of coverage. That's rare in this price bracket. No complicated menus, no bloatware. Just a TV that turns on and does its job. For casual viewers who want something reliable without overthinking it, this is a budget beast. You're getting premium features without premium hassle. And if you're someone who already uses Roku products, the integration is seamless. Your apps, your preferences, everything carries over. The next one proves budget doesn't mean boring. Number 5, TCL. TCL has been climbing the ranks for years, and in 2025 they're hitting their stride. The QM851G model is a mini LED monster with massive brightness and high local dimming zones. We're talking over 1,400 local dimming zones on the 65-inch model. That's more than some OLEDs have pixels in a single row. The result? Precise backlight control. Bright highlights don't bleed into dark areas. 240 Hz variable refresh rate for gamers. If you're running a miniLED, PS5 or Xbox Series X, this TV keeps up. No tearing, no stuttering. Smooth as butter even in fast-paced shooters or racing games. Strong HDR pop that makes colors jump off the screen. Peak brightness hits over 2,000 nits in small window measurements. That means specular highlights in movies look incredible. Sunlight reflections, explosions, lightsabers. They all have that punch you want. And the price? Way below what Samsung or LG charge for similar specs. You're looking at $1,200 for a 65-inch when comparable QLEDs cost $2,000 or more. There's slight blooming around bright objects and dark scenes. That's the trade-off with edge-lit mini LED. White text on a black background will have a faint halo. But for sports, gaming, and daytime streaming, this thing performs like a flagship. Perfect middle ground for gamers and streamers. You're getting high-end specs without the high-end price. Don't sleep on this one. But this next brand, it's making Samsung nervous. Number 4, Hisense. Hisense has been the underdog for a while, but the 2025 U8N just dominates the mid-range market. This TV delivers wild performance for the price, and it's not even close. Over 2,000 nits of peak brightness. That's brighter than most OLEDs and many premium QLEDs. You can watch this TV in a sunlit room and still see everything clearly. No washed out colors. No faded contrast. Excellent native contrast ratio. Around 5,000 to 1 without local dimming engaged. Turn on the local dimming and it jumps to 50,000 to 1-inch optimal scenes. That's deep blacks and bright highlights in the same frame, full Dolby Vision support, Dolby Atmos pass-through, and gaming features that rival screens twice the price, 4 HDMI 2.1 ports. All of them support 4K at 120 Hz. Variable refresh rate. Auto low latency mode. There's some panel variants depending on the size you buy. The 65-inch and 75-inch models perform slightly better than the smaller ones. Better uniformity, tighter, quality control. But across the board, this is the best brightness per dollar TV you can buy in 2025. And here's something people don't talk about. Hisense's motion handling has improved dramatically. 3 years ago, they struggled with fast motion. Now, sports look crisp. Action scenes stay clear. They've closed the gap. If you want a screen that pops in any lighting condition and you don't want to spend flagship money, this is it. Hisense isn't playing around anymore. Halfway through, and if you're noticing a pattern, it's that brand loyalty doesn't mean much anymore. The logo you trusted 5 years ago might be cutting corners now. Sony used to dominate. Then LG took over with OLED. Now Chinese brands are delivering specs that shouldn't exist at these prices. The market's shifting fast. And those exclusive models you see at Costco or Walmart, they're often rebranded versions with cheaper parts. Different model numbers, same compromises, fewer dimming zones, lower brightness, stripped features. That's why model numbers matter. A Samsung QN90D and a QN90DA look identical on the shelf, but one has better processing and more dimming zones. The other is the store variant built to hit a price point. Stick around, because the top 3 picks include one hidden gem outperforming the big names. Don't skip this part. Comment your favorite TV brand below, and I'll tell you if it's safe to buy. Number 3. Sony. Even Sony's lower tier models outperform mid-range competitors, and that's been true for years. In 2025, they're proving it again with the Bravia 9. This is an insane mini-LED panel with contrast that rivals OLED. We're talking 10,000 to 1 native contrast before local dimming. Turn on the backlight master drive, and you're looking at near infinite contrast in controlled scenes. Motion handling is the best in the industry. No other brand comes close to Sony's motion processing. They use a combination of black frame insertion and motion interpolation that doesn't introduce soap opera effect. Sports look crisp. Action movies look smooth. No blur, no stutter. Watch a football game. You can read jersey numbers on players running full speed. Watch a car chase. Every frame is clear. Other brands smear or judder. Sony just works. And the upscaling? If you're watching older content or streaming at lower resolution, Sony's processor makes it look better than it should. 1080p content looks near 4K. 720p YouTube videos look surprisingly decent. This matters more than people realize because most streaming is compressed. Google TV is clean, smooth, and packed with features. Voice search actually works. Recommendations are useful. App support is universal. You're paying more than Hisense or TCL, but you're getting cinematic quality without OLED pricing. This is the TV for people who care about how movies are supposed to look. Filmmakers grade their content on Sony monitors. This is the closest you'll get to that experience at home. For those who want their TV to feel like a theater screen, this is the entry point. For cinematic quality without OLED price, Sony nails it. Now we're hitting the heavyweights. Stay with me. Number 2. LG. LG has owned the OLED market for years, and in 2025, the C4 and G4 models are still setting the standard. If you want the best picture quality available, this is where you start looking. Infinite contrast, perfect blacks, every pixel controls its own light, so there's no blooming, no haloing, just pure picture quality. When a scene goes dark, the screen goes dark. Not gray, not backlit, completely black. That changes everything. Horror movies are scarier, space scenes feel immersive. Anything shot in low light looks the way the director intended. Dolby Vision support with Filmmaker mode. That means you're seeing content exactly as it was mastered. No artificial sharpening, no oversaturated colors. Just accurate reference quality images, low input lag for gaming, under 10 milliseconds in game mode. That's essential for competitive shooters or fighting games where every frame counts. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports that support the full bandwidth for 4K 120 Hz gaming. And if you grab one at Costco, you're getting an extended warranty that's worth its weight in gold. OLED burn-in is rare now with pixel shift and screen refresh features, but that peace of mind matters. 5 years of coverage on a premium panel. The C4 nails brightness and color. Peak brightness around 1000 nits in HDR, which is bright enough for most content. The G4 adds refinement with better peak brightness, hitting 1000, 200 to 1000, 400 nits, and a sleeker design with thinner bezels. Both are incredible for movies and gaming. This is still the gold standard. If you want the best blacks and the most immersive picture, LG OLED is where you go. It's been true for years. It's still true now. The next one might shock you. But the number 1 pick redefines what a premium TV feels like. Number 1, Samsung. The S95D and Neo QLED lineup dominate both performance and reliability in 2025. This is the complete package. Picture quality, gaming features, smart interface, build quality, and long-term support all firing on every cylinder. Samsung's QD OLED panel tech delivers the brightest color volume on the market. We're talking colors that stay vibrant even at peak brightness, something traditional OLEDs can't match. LG's OLED dims when colors get bright. Samsung's QD OLED keeps them punchy. Watch a sunset scene. The orange and red hues stay saturated even when the sun is blindingly bright. That's color volume. Most TVs have to choose between brightness and saturation. Samsung gives you both. Reflection control is superb. The panel has an anti-reflective coating that scatters ambient light instead of bouncing it back at you. You can watch in a bright room without glare washing out the picture. Windows behind you? Not a problem. Lamps on? Still looks great. HDR performance is near perfect. Highlights pop without blowing out. You can see detail in clouds during a bright sky scene. Shadows hold detail without crushing. You can see texture in dark clothing or dimly lit backgrounds. And reliability? Samsung's track record speaks for itself. Firmware updates are consistent and actually improve performance instead of breaking features. Build quality is rock solid. Premium materials. Metal stands, thin bezels. It feels expensive because it is. Customer support actually responds. Chat support is fast. Phone support is available. Warranty claims get processed without drama. That matters when you're spending $2,000 on a screen. The Neo QLED models use mini-LED backlighting with thousands of dimming zones. The QN90D has over 700 zones on the 65-inch model. That's precise control over brightness across the entire screen. Gaming features are flagship tier. 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, variable refresh rate up to 144 Hz on PC, auto low latency mode, game mode that doesn't destroy picture quality like some brands. Samsung's flagship feels like the sports car of living room TVs. Blindingly fast, smooth, and built to flex. Everything about it feels premium. The remote is metal, the menus are instant, the picture is flawless. If you want the absolute best TV you can buy in 2025, this is it. Best overall TV brand of 2025. No question. Before you pull the trigger this Black Friday, a quick recap of what to avoid. Vizio, firmware nightmares, and cheap parts. They keep promising fixes and keep failing to deliver. Every update feels like a gamble. Will it improve things or brick a feature you rely on? Don't find out the hard way. RCA, outdated tech, unreliable build, poor support. The name doesn't carry weight anymore. It's a licensing deal slapped on generic panels. You're not getting RCA quality from 1,985. You're getting 2,025 budget corners. Element. Fake HDR, fake 120 Hz, all disappointment. If it's this cheap, there's a reason. The panel is bottom tier. The processor is weak. The software is abandoned. Walk away. If you see them 50% off, now you know why. Walk past them. Spend a little more and get something that lasts. Buying a TV in 2025 doesn't have to be a gamble, but it's easy to fall for marketing tricks. Don't get blinded by AI picture mode stickers or super HDR labels. Those are buzzwords. They don't guarantee performance. Look for what actually matters. Panel type. Is it OLED, QLED, or mini-LED? Local dimming zones. How many? More is usually better. Software stability. Does the brand push consistent updates or abandon products after launch? Peak brightness and nits. That's how bright the screen can get in HDR. Contrast ratio. That's the difference between the darkest black and the brightest white. Motion handling. Does it blur during fast action or stay clear? Mid-range doesn't mean bad. Hisense and TCL are proving that right now. You can get flagship features without flagship pricing if you know where to look. And even the best screen is worthless if the firmware isn't stable. A TV that crashes, freezes, or loses features after an update isn't a deal. It's a liability. You'll spend more time troubleshooting than watching. So remember this, the best TV isn't the one with the loudest marketing. It's the one that still looks incredible 5 years later. It's the one that turns on every time without issues. It's the one you forget about because it just works. Samsung leads the pack in 2025 for overall performance and reliability. If you want everything, go Samsung. LG dominates if you want pure picture quality and perfect blacks. For movie lovers and purists, LG OLED is the answer. Sony wins if you care about motion and upscaling. Sports fans and cinephiles should look here. Hisense and TCL crush the mid-range with specs that shouldn't exist at these prices. They're proof you don't need to spend $3,000 to get a great picture. And Roku Pro is the simple, solid choice for anyone who just wants a great TV without overthinking it. No fuss, no complexity, just reliable performance. Avoid Vizio, RCA, and Element. They're not worth your time or money, even on sale, even at 50% off, even if they look tempting. The problems outweigh the savings. Which brand do you trust most? Drop it below, and don't miss our next video where we test 2025's most overhyped TVs to see if they're actually worth it. If this helped you avoid a bad buy, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.